In the world of the hobbyist photographer, we're constantly being bombarded with new ways to improve our photography. Better gear, different gimmicks, or alternative rules or trends to follow. In our pursuit of perfection, reading a quote like Edward Weston's stating that consulting composition before making a photo is a little bit like consulting gravity before going for a walk may take us back a little. Of course we should consider composition, shouldn't we? After all, if we didn't, our photographs would just end up looking a little bit like a car crash. Is it possible to be spontaneous and make photographs just based on instinct rather than considering every single little detail? To answer this question, I decided to be a little bit spontaneous myself. So I walked 3 miles to my local railway station, caught the train to the town of Ilkley, and then decided to walk the 12 miles home, instinctively photographing anything that caught my eye along the way, and also thinking that walking 15 miles and filming a YouTube video in the same day was an excellent idea. When I arrived at the station, a train was just leaving the platform, allowing me plenty of time to mull over the task ahead and to be slapped in the face early doors with the sweet irony of spontaneity. Eventually, the next train arrived and I was on my way.
Welcome to the Ilkley train. The next station is Ilkley. This train terminates here. Please take all your belongings with you.
After a short journey, I was arriving into Ilkley station without a single photo planned out in my head. A daunting yet liberating feeling. However, it didn't take me long to get my camera out for another shot. With a long walk ahead, I didn't really have time to hang around in the beautiful town as I headed up the hill towards the moor, each step taking me closer to home. In need of a breather after the first section of climbing, I was glad to come across Ilkley Moor Tarn, a beautiful place to get some more spontaneous shots. I knew if I was to get home in time for my steak and chips, I was going to have to continue to climb. As the bracken grew more and more dense, my legs became a moving target for ticks and other hungry invertebrates. I was soon on a better path, so I knew I was approaching one of the most famous sites in Yorkshire, the Cow and Calf Rocks. Now, I've photographed these stony outcrops many a time before, so seeing as I was being spontaneous, I wanted a different angle. I'm usually the first to poo-poo a photograph of a sign, but here I was taking my second sign shot of the day. Maybe my instinct was trying to tell me something. Moving away from the tourist-ridden rocks, the moor was becoming more and more bleak and desolate with every step. To be honest, my photography instinct wasn't really kicking in at this point. The light was flat and there wasn't really anything jumping out at me. But I think this can be a good thing. If we can't find a shot, we shouldn't force ourselves to take photographs. Just be safe in the knowledge that another shot will be along sometime soon. And sure enough, they were. I was nearly at the highest point on my walk, the famous hut on Burley Moor, the site of one of my favourite photographs I've ever taken. Obviously, I wasn't going to match this prowess on a day like today, but I still couldn't help take a few shots. With home in sight, albeit quite some miles away, I decided to perch on a rock, have my lunch and catch up on the cricket. Come on, England. The day was motoring on, so I knew I had to too. So I started to meander back down off the moor, admiring the views of the Wharfe Valley below as I descended. I soon found myself at a shooting range. Thankfully, there weren't any guns pointing at me, so I was safe to take a few shots of my own. A little bit further on from the shooting range, I found a unique little sluice gate, another chance to have a quick breather before continuing my walk homeward bound. Before long, I was at the first road crossing since leaving Ilkley, which, to be honest, felt a little bit more of an achievement than it probably was. The rugged moorland was slowly morphing into gentle, undulating farmland, providing me with another chance to try out some instinctive shots. The village of Hawksworth was in sight. Well, I suppose it would have been if I hadn't been walking through trees. After walking across 2 golf courses where, quite frankly, surviving was more of a priority than taking photos or filming B-roll, I found myself on a series of leafy lanes. My instinct can never resist a vanishing path shot. When I made it to the little village of Esholt, which fans of the popular English soap Emmerdale may recognise, I felt I could almost taste my steak and chips. Just 3 miles left to go. As I made my way through Esholt Woods, I just had the wherewithal to take a few more shots, including a figurine atop an old lamppost. Was I going mad from fatigue? And my third sign photo of the day. Oh dear. Thankfully, I just had one more hill to conquer in order to make it home. Out of the photos I took, many are probably for the delete pile, but there were some that I'm really quite pleased with. Looking back at these photos, I bet you're thinking, Tom, weren't you meant to be ignoring composition? Because I can sort of see evidence of leading lines, the rule of thirds, and layers of depth in your photos. Let's rewind a little bit. When Edward Weston made this quote about composition and gravity, he didn't mean that we should ignore composition altogether, because, as we said earlier on, that'd just be plain stupid. I think what he's getting at is that we shouldn't overthink our photographs. We should get to a point where composition is instinctive. Before Edward Weston uttered those infamous words, he also said, to compose a subject well means no more than to see and present it in the best manner possible. The process of making and composing photographs shouldn't be clunky and fraught with indecision. It should be a process that is smooth, allowing us to be more spontaneous and instinctive. If you're just starting out in photography, this goal may seem a million miles away at the moment, but if you try out a task like I did, you don't have to walk quite as far if you don't want to. You'll soon find out what interests you as a photographer, what stands out, and what makes you take photographs. Being spontaneous and instinctive allows us to be ourselves behind the camera. Yes, you may come home with some dud shots, but so what? The ones that you do come back with that you're pleased with will stand out more because they'll mean something to you. You'll break free from the misnomer that composition is based upon a set of rules. Instead, in the words of Edward Weston, it becomes a way of seeing and presenting your subject in the best manner possible. Now, if you'd like to turn your next photo walk into a mini project, check out this video next. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more unique Yorkshire locations, new ways of seeing, and see some Egypt in a flat cap take some more weird photos.